Welcome to Build, Grow, Profit, where you hear from entrepreneurs why they built their business, what they did to grow it, and how they profit. Hello and welcome to the show. I am your host, Cassie Parks, and I am super excited to introduce you to the couple that is here to talk to us today about how they are building and growing and profiting in a business together. We are so lucky because we have lovers of love. I love lovers of love, self-proclaimed. I love it. Amazing. I'm also a lover of love. We have a hardworking, loving husband and father who enjoys building things, music, and motorcycles, and his wife, Margaret. That's Byron and Margaret, who started the Beyond I Do podcast to share their stories and inspire others to work towards long-lasting, loving relationships. Super excited about Margaret. She is creative. She's a dedicated wife and a mother. She enjoys reading, crocheting, and learning new things. And they really started this podcast to inspire others. So I am super excited to interview them. They have also, by the way, successfully navigated 26 years of marriage, which of course is why they have the mission that they do. So welcome, Byron and Margaret.
Thank
Yay.
you. Thank you. Hello.
As you were introducing us, he says, that sounds good.
Yep. Whoever they are.
Yes, it does. That's awesome. I love it. Super excited to talk to you two today. So thank you for joining us.
And thank you for having us.
Yes.
Of course. So in your words, give us the short and sweet version of who you are and what you do.
You got it?
Okay. So we are Byron and Margaret. We started the Beyond I Do podcast a little over a year ago. He came to me with the idea of starting the podcast to kind of share what we've learned over our journey. And I don't know, sometimes it feels like there's this anti-relationship feel going. So we kind of wanted to neutralize that a little bit.
Yep.
And over the year, we learned a lot about each other as we shared with our listeners. And going into year 2, we've started to bring on guests, and we are working on being better individuals so that we can be better partners. And so our thing is we love love. We want to let people know that you can marry your best friend and be married and happy and raise children and still come out on the end together.
Yep.
That's amazing. And so, of course, you started a podcast and you have a YouTube channel, right? And that's the start of building your business. So what I'm hearing is it was like, hey, this is something we want to do. Let's get it started and then see what happens. Is that true?
Yes.
That is true.
Definitely.
That is true. And the podcast came first, and I'm very introverted, so he didn't think I would agree to the podcast. And then after I agreed to that, he said, well, what about YouTube? And I said, slow down. And so we started to branch out into that. And then this year, in the midst of meeting individuals and working together, we actually decided to write a book together. And so that's the next phase is our upcoming book.
Amazing. Tell us, is it in the beginning phases? Have you started writing? Tell us about it.
It is done. We are shooting to release mid-May. We looked at the first 10 episodes of the podcast, and there was like a theme going. And so we took those 10 episodes and kind of expanded on those areas.
I love it. Okay. So that's how you're going to grow to even a bigger audience, right?
Right.
Yes.
Amazing. And so when we've already touched on this a little, but I want to dive into this because I think so many entrepreneurs are like, well, did you start this with the idea of it being a business, or has that come after? Like, it's like, we just want to do a podcast together. and then the business ideas followed, or was it always going to be a business but you just didn't know what it would look like?
Initially, it started out as a podcast.
Mhm.
I just wanted to get it. I got tired of looking on social media and seeing relationships uh, be taken for a joke. People talk about marriages or just relationships in general, as in nobody stays together anymore. And I'm like, that is not true. So after seeing that so many times or hearing those things so many times, I was like, there has to be a better way to get some information out there. And I'm a common type of guy, and I like common things, and I'm common people. So we tend to look at well, society tends to look at the stars for couples goals, so to speak. And so my thing was like, well, there's a lot of regular people out there that's living their lives happy and enjoying themselves. So I wanted to just share our story because I wanted to let people know that there are people out there that are getting married, living, and going through the vows till death do them part. And we just wanted to share how we made it. So that was our motivation. So it started out as a podcast, and as we started venturing into it, it's like, hey, well, maybe we can do some coaching. Maybe we can get into some
Mhm.
some, some business aspects of it. So as we progress, as we learn more, it just developed into, okay, this is something we can do full time because both of us are like we're tired of our regular jobs.
Yes, yeah.
So
Right.
here we are, starting it out.
Amazing. And I so love that it just feels like you didn't just jump into this has to be the thing, or we have to create this business. It's really organic, which is not something that all entrepreneurs do. Like very often I see the opposite. Like I gotta have all these things. I gotta have 10 products and 10 coaching and 10 this. And you guys are laying the foundation. That is amazing.
So that's the benefit of having both of us, because if it were just me, I'm that type of person that I'm gonna jump in and I want to solve every problem before it pops up, which means I'm a wonderful list maker, but then actually fulfilling the things on the list I struggle with, and that's where he comes in. Um, he's the let's jump in and do it, and then we'll solve problems as we go. And so that's been it's
Mhm.
been a learning curve, I think, for both of us,
Yes.
but the balance has helped us to grow at a steady pace. And like he said, with coaching, we're actually in the middle of a course to become relationship coaches. Like I said, the book came about. YouTube, we're trying to be more active there. So all of these things, it's kind of like we're not overwhelmed by it because we
Yes.
didn't jump in and try to do everything at once.
Yep.
Yes. What is the biggest difference in your relationship since starting this particular adventure together?
um, the biggest difference is her and I have connected even more because in the first year of our podcast, we shared our story
Mhm.
and we broke things down, different phases. And going back and looking over the years, reminiscing about different instances, it helped us to see, okay, well, I thought you meant this at that time,
Mhm.
but now I see you meant this. So that helped us to kind of navigate together and say, okay, well, and it gave us a better understanding of one another. So we've grown closer in the last year than
Mhm.
we've probably grown in the last 10 years.
Yeah. I think too, to see each other in different roles,
Yes.
um, that's been good also to build something together, and to we kind of naturally fell into he does the editing of the actual podcast and the videos, and I do the images and things for our posting on social
Mhm.
media and whatnot. And we've kind of fallen into those roles, we see each other differently in a
Yes.
different light, and I think there's a better appreciation for each other and for what we have to offer.
Yep. And there's no taking advantage of anybody because now we know what each other does. Those are some jobs when we don't
Mhm.
really understand the job, so to speak, but
Right.
we understand what each other contribute to the podcast and our venture. So it's like, hey, there's no disrespect. I know you work just as hard as I do.
Mhm.
That's amazing. I love it. So what's your favorite thing about your business so far?
Being together
Yeah.
and learning things together, um, meeting
Mhm.
just very interesting people. Because a lot of times we put ourselves in a bubble sometimes. We
Mhm.
think like we're the only ones that's thinking like we think because in our friend group, we're the only ones doing what we're doing. So it's like
Mhm.
we're alone. And then once we ventured out, and I'll be honest, she said something at the beginning of the year. She said, I'm gonna reach out to people for guests. And I was like, I don't know if I really want to do that. But that was the best decision because we
Mhm.
have met fabulous people like yourself.
Mhm.
Just learning that there are people just like us that are starting out or in whatever phase they're in, but they are here to help us. So we're having a blast. It's fun.
Right.
Yay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love
It's,
it.
like, both of us are still in our full-time position, so sometimes it's like, I get home and I'm kind of dragging, trying to get myself pepped up, but the minute, we log in and we have an interview or we
Yes.
start editing things, he's on one side editing, I'm on the other side creating things, and we're showing each other, it's like it rejuvenates us, and it
Yeah.
gives us, it lets us know that we're building something, that we're working for with a goal in mind, a common goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right. Well, we have to hear this. Tell us your love story.
So,
All right.
how we meet?
Well, many, many moons ago. um, what was it? 92,
91.
91. A friend of mine, she didn't go to the same school that I went to, high school, I'm sorry. And so a friend of mine, we had detention together, stayed after school. So we got dropped off at my house. And he was like, hey man, I'm gonna go see my friend Margaret. She lives around the corner. And this is my neighborhood. So I'm like, I know every female that's here. So I need to go see who this is, just being nosy. So we walk around there and they talk, we get introduced, but she doesn't remember that at all. So, fast forward, what, a couple of months later,
Yeah.
I run into her with another friend of mine. And we were formally introduced at this time. And we kind of connected. And um, we started running into each other
Mhm.
in some of the same local hangout spots. And we just started, we had some mutual friends. And we just kind of started connecting,
He he skipped over the important part.
oh,
Why I
You
didn't
fill us in,
remember the
Margaret.
first time.
oh yeah, yeah,
You fill us in.
I I
that's right.
had a crush on his
Yeah, she
friend.
did. Yeah, she did.
So
Yeah,
so that's why I don't remember that first time. I had a crush on his friend.
yeah. She didn't even see
I
me.
didn't.
That's right.
And I was just so excited that his friend came to see me.
Yeah.
But we after that, our friend groups would kind of like we'd hang out together
Mm,
or we'd have the local teen club or the mall. We had a rotation of things on Fridays and Saturdays that people that teenagers would do, and
yeah.
we'd run into each other and
Mhm.
we became friends. And our friendship lasted for, what, 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
And I think there was one episode of us trying to date during that time, but
Yeah, I
that
remember that.
didn't work during that time. But
Yep.
we remained friends. And I went away to school. He had a long term girlfriend that he was with. And when I was getting ready to move back home, it was the end of 96.
Mhm.
Um, I would come home from breaks and I'd call him and we'd go and eat and hang out. And so I told him, I said, well, I'm moving back. You want to help me move? And he did. He helped me move, and that was in January of '97,
Mhm.
and it was like from that point on, we were inseparable.
Yep.
Um, and by December of '97, we were married and we had our son.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yep. So '97 is the year it all changed.
Yep. Alright.
That seems like a song.
You know, and it's funny you say that. He writes music. He raps, he sings, he produces beats and music, and he's actually written a couple of he's written a song specifically for me
Mhm.
and one for me and our kids.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I
And
love
that
that.
all the music on our videos and our podcast, the background music, he does all of that.
That's awesome, and what a way to get to use that thing you love and that skill,
Yeah.
Right.
in your business. Amazing.
Mhm.
I love it.
Say thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
So
you.
so
what's in the future for you guys? What are you building? What do you want this to look like?
Hmm. Well, definitely, during this process, we've learned that, there was at one point in time, like everyone else, we wanted the big house, we wanted the cars, we wanted the, expensive vacations, we wanted the large life. And we still want the house, we still want the cars, not the big house, but the house, the cars, the vacations. But the main thing that we desire now is our freedom. So, the
Mhm.
motivation for our venture is all about, creating freedom. Freedom to move about, freedom to create, freedom to because when you're stuck in a job, you're stuck to that job for. And myself, I work 12-hour shifts. So for 12 hours, I'm there, and I'm in a position where I do work that I can kind of do a few things as far as our venture while I'm at work, but it's not sustainable all the time.
Mhm,
So, uh, having that freedom to do what we desire to do, to
Mhm.
wake up and just say, you know what, I don't feel like doing nothing today. Let's just take
Mhm.
off. And we know that comes in time, but that's what we're working towards now. So that's what it's all about, whether if it's the tiny home or whether if we're traveling and being able to do things on location. That's what she desires. Definitely
yeah, yeah.
to
That's
take
what
a
I want.
laptop and go all across the
I
world.
do.
You know,
Mhm.
that's the main that's the goal. Because our kids are grown, they're adults, and so the sky's the limit for us.
Amazing. Um, I know you've started working on a relationship coaching certification. Do you have a course name? Any plans you're going to do one-on-one, couples, anything like that that you'd like to share with our audience?
So I think that, of course, going through the courses, the focus is one on one. And I'm not opposed to that. But coming into this, the idea of connecting with other couples has always been appealing for me.
Mm,
And so I'm like, I want to have retreats where we go with other couples and go and travel and do these things,
Mhm.
yes.
even local events, having date nights or game nights with your spouse and things like that. That's more of where I really want us to kind of focus in on. The one-on-one coaching, I think, like I said, it has its place, and we will probably dabble with that some.
Yes.
But my big thing is bringing couples together, even if it's virtually, and having a, I don't know, virtual game night or things like that. Just being able to be with other couples and learn from each other, and
Mm,
share what we have. That's really the big thing for me.
yes. And we would like to definitely include some of our coaching techniques in whatever activity that we're
Hmm.
doing. So, it may be like a 45-minute to 1 hour
Hmm.
session where we'll, discuss some things, and then the rest of it is play. Or if they want to continue to discuss, we'll do that. But the thing is, we want to grow ourselves in our venture, but we want to continue to help others. The
Right.
main thing is, I know that helping others brings me joy, and I know it brings her joy.
Mhm.
So, that's the whole point in life to me now, is helping others.
I think that in terms of couples too, my focus would probably, I would want young couples or new couples to try and get them off to a good start.
Yes, definitely.
Um, so that's something that we've talked about, and um, just trying to figure out where we would fit best and be the best resource.
Yes.
Amazing. So obviously people can find the Beyond I Do podcast on their favorite app, right? You can go to YouTube and find it.
Yes.
Um, Anywhere else anyone can connect with you that you want to share?
So we are also on Facebook,
Mhm.
the Beyond I Do podcast. We have a page, but we also have a group. We are on Instagram, and we're on TikTok. That's
A little
like
bit.
that's the last in the
Yeah.
learning curve.
Until they're no longer.
Right, that
While
too.
we have them.
It's that's like a whole nother beast trying to figure out what works, what doesn't. Aside from I'm not gonna dance. I'm not doing a
Yeah,
challenge.
we won't
So
be climbing in the milk crates, I tell you that.
right. So trying to figure out how to get information on that platform that's useful. But right now, Facebook is where we are most active,
Yes.
and our next focus is getting our YouTube um, channel more, so that it's more of a resource. And I know that there's something about video. So I enjoy the podcast. It was definitely easier for me to ease into the audio only. But I know that there's a lot of value in video. And so um, right now the focus is our YouTube channel, and growing our YouTube subscribers, and just the content that's just there, making sure that it's useful.
You think so? In the beginning, I was like podcast and YouTube channel. She said, "Hold on."
Yes.
She said, "Hold on, I don't know about YouTube." I said, "You got to hit YouTube. That's the way you have to do it." But
Yeah,
now she's
right.
like, "We got to get more active on YouTube." I said, "All right."
We also, like us, our first book, we're self-publishing, so um, the date that we toyed around with is May 15th. But we also have the second book already in the process of being outlined. So that's something that we enjoyed that process as well. These are things that you think about. Um, just sometimes it's just in passing. I'd like to write a book,
Yeah.
and now there's so many tools available that it's easy to do that in a non-traditional way. And so that's a fun thing that
Yeah.
we did, and I think we'll do that.
And now, Cassie, I tell you, the book I did not see. I did not see that. When she approached me about the book, I was like, you know, just like the podcast, who wants to listen to what I have to say?
Yep.
And,
Yep.
as we've interviewed people, people have been encouraging us, and we've been hearing it. Y'all need to write a book. Y'all
Hmm.
need to write a book. So I was like, well, let's do it.
Yep.
I love it. That's amazing. Um, what's the title of the book so someone finds this after May 15th?
Unlocking Forever, 10 keys to 10 keys to marriage beyond.
Yay.
First time I've said it out loud.
Yay.
Oh my goodness. That's and all of this is very surreal.
Yes, it is.
You know, I'm a classroom teacher, and so some of my colleagues know that we have our podcast. And so when I'm leaving work and I'm like, I gotta hurry up, we have an interview to do. it- it's like it
Yeah,
sounds like somebody else is saying
yeah.
it. Um, so all of it, it's a very surreal feeling. When we started getting guests to be on the podcast, I'm like, baby, look, this person has 77,000 YouTube followers, like, and they're gonna come on our podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just been it's been surreal. It's amazing the things that we've been able to do
Mhm.
and experience, and it's
And
just little old us,
we've also gained some friends, some new friends, and
right?
some of them even they're like family. Like we've
Mm-hmm.
all known them all our lives, so
Yeah.
it's definitely been a great experience. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. I love it. Well, what's your best advice for entrepreneurial couples?
Oh goodness.
Definitely, as far as the couple portion, we believe that like is like over love. Because you have to like your partner more so than you love them. You know, you have family members, you have friends that you love, but you may not like to be around them all the time. So, we focus on that. And as far as the entrepreneurship, um, together is key. Us doing things together,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to allow us to, now we have accountability partners.
Yep.
Where she's like, "Well, did you edit that? Oh, I forgot about that. Did you edit this? Oh yeah, I forgot about that." So it helps us to stay on track. So, definitely doing things together.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that's the key right there. And there's no second guessing anything because I got my accountability partner. I say, "Hey, how's this gonna work? How does this work?" And she'll be like, "Nah, that ain't gonna work."
Also, don't box yourself in.
Exactly.
Um, like we've been open to whatever comes our way. So with the
Mhm.
podcast, like I said, he thought I was going to shoot that down. I'm like, nah, we can do it, sure.
Yep.
Um, and we went through that process, and we've like when we listen to the first episode versus our most current episode, we can hear the growth.
Mhm.
Like I said, with the book, he said he didn't see that coming at all. But um, so each step is like we haven't closed ourselves off to what could be. So don't put yourself in a box. Think outside of the box and be open
Yep.
and willing to try new things and do stuff that you may be afraid to do. You may be
And
nervous. Just go ahead and
and
do
if
it
you haven't
anyways.
if you have an idea, just try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the biggest part is stepping out there. Um, People have a fear of failure, and we've all heard it. Sometimes you fail a couple of times before you succeed, and
Hmm.
if you never push, if you never take the step, you never know if you could make it or not.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that I remember saying, I don't know, 15 or so years ago, I said, I wanted to be in a position to retire at 55. That was my goal. But now I didn't know how that was going to happen. Saying that then. So, now, I'm 48 now. So now having this venture that we're doing, our business and the book and the podcast, I can see the vision a little clearer now. You know,
Hmm.
um, Now, will I retire at 55? I don't
Whoa.
know.
Before is my goal, but
Love it. I
But
love
she
it.
knows that, one of the things I do on the side is I work on cars, so she knows that I got to turn a wrench at least once a week. I don't care if it's just pick up a screwdriver.
I'm showing him like the whole idea of digital nomad. And for me, that's ideal. Like
Yes.
I would sell everything in a heartbeat to be able to go and do. And he's like, but if we do that, how am I gonna work on cars? Really?
I'm gonna have to have a toolbox that I can carry with me.
But
Yep.
and it's funny, and I didn't share this with him then, but after that, I walked into one of the rooms where I store my yarn, I crochet, and I thought, "Well, I would need somewhere for my yarn." I wasn't gonna tell him that at the time, but
Right.
still.
Oh, amazing. All right. Well, I definitely want to have you guys back in a year or so. Thank you for taking the time out today to share your story and your journey, both your love and your entrepreneurial journey with the listeners today. I appreciate it.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
you having us,
Yes.
and we would love to come back and update you
Yep.
on the next book and where we're traveling to next, and
Yep.
Yes.
Maybe we'll be on location somewhere. Who knows?
look at that.
I
See?
love it. Yep. I love it. It's my favorite thing to do is do a podcast in a random corner somewhere because that's traveling, right?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I love it. Amazing. Well, thank you guys. Thank you all for listening today. Make sure to come back for our next episode and learn how another entrepreneur is building, growing, and profiting in their business. Thank you for being here. Join our community to attend live recordings, access free training, and connect with other entrepreneurs by going to buildgrowprofitgroup.com. That's buildgrowprofitgroup.com. Register for a free account and then request to join our group. We're excited to connect with you at buildgrowprofitgroup.com.